action, it speaks louder than words. And on that note, here's our lovely Sadhguru. When you are in action, hesitation is the worst crime. Now, when we are secure attachment individuals, which is what a secure person is, means you have mindful relationships. It means you're a functional adult. It means you don't find yourself in a body and a mind that is helpless. In fact, even with the medical health community in the lovely Western world creating the mental health diagnoses in a way that has created, thank you Nutshell Lady, learned helplessness. She's not the first therapist that I learned that from. The group of NICABM therapists have shared with me the same, as they've shared why a person who has not healed from their shame, defectiveness, heartbreak, gut wrench, and insecure attachment, so trauma, childhood trauma wounds, or trauma, there's different areas that we could look into. We're not going to. I fuck it up, by the way, so just so you know, I don't always keep it all together. Anybody who's stickler for that organized, I don't do linear. I do like little roundabouts, and if you're chit-chatting while I'm talking, you know, that's your stuff, not mine. And that just means your left mode is online and you're not really here for chit-chat. So you should go and prove your story because you're already telling it to yourself. So you don't need to listen to anybody else, is what I'm trying to say. That's what people don't know about true listening. But they don't know about their embodied brain either, and therefore they don't know that the right mode won't go online with an adult if you don't create a relationship with your emotional body first. And that's where the charge states, we all have them. Your attachment system, we all have one. And some people have actual childhood trauma, which will have brought forth attach, cry, collapse, submit, please, appease, fight, flight, or fright or freeze. So they're in defense mode whenever they're interacting, and their neuroreceptor or neuroception, however Stephen Porges poses that, is still scanning. It's scanning, though not in a way that it's actually safe to be itself. No, the people who, even without yoga, are able to not scan in a way of, am I safe or unsafe? And so to stay locked in and loaded in our secure attachment body, because our integrated brain, thank you Daniel Siegel, left mode, right mode, working together. I get to use my chit chatter and my sensations when they come up. I'm not uncomfortable with my emotional body. We get to learn about emotion building skills in that lovely masterclass that's upcoming, but we also get to understand emotional body, energy body. I put them together, but they are different, just so you know. I know that, but I relate them because your nervous system is where you're going to have that chemistry and neurofeedback. And people who don't understand how their brain works, they don't know that the chemistry of fear is what is on when they're in rumination. As Tara Brach will have explained in one of her beautiful videos where she's teaching people how to be mindful and how to get out of their alert, to get out of that limbic system, which is the amygdala alerting you that something's off. Instead, there's nothing off when you're talking to somebody, so you can easily put that cortex down. And that's because if you and I are conversing and I'm sharing food for thought, unless you need to prove something, and here's where adaptive children instead, they're all rigid, ready to prove their points instead of being functional adults. That's your 4D collective, 3D collective, or anybody who's in also other soul age groups and not aware of their oneness consciousness. Oh, that's right. Nobody's a chosen one, and nobody's a spirituality process alone. You're a human 101. Just FYI, I've connected all those dots, and here's where I was remembering. There's this dude I was watching, and he's known for like being... And as I'm watching him tell his story, I'm like, you're just a person who has, one, the REM neurobiology coming through, and that's great. I have it too when I'm channeling. And so you got your guides and you got stuff going on, and that's great. Again, I know all about it, 5D Mystic here. The way he's telling it, but the way he's being interviewed also is like, oh, but you're spiritual, someone. So the entire community gives people, which is what adaptive children do, they project their idealization, their ideal type of, so see, a functional adult, a differentiated self, a person who is their own human being. We're like, yeah, you're not superior. I mean, you're a person. That's great. Thank you, Terry Real. Healthy self-worth. I ain't superior or inferior. So I'm not going to be looking up to you because you had some experiences that are mystic. No, I have them too. Even if I hadn't had them, great. So we like to hear each other's stories. We don't pend our lips upon it like, oh my gosh, I met something or someone that's amazing. That's because we feel good about the unknowns of life, though, with existentialism being the number one thing nobody really looks into, meaning you don't know everything. Here's why the intelligent ones wander. The idiots are dead sure. And when you're in action is actually where you just say, nope, I know everything in action. Oh, it's not the worst crime. No, you see them all over the place. Just watch any movie. We'll find out how people work with their karma. And on that note, I do this. I mix this and that. So human, spiritual, and spirituality. So let me get back to where I was trying to head with this one. Oh yes, twin flames, soulmates, all of that. Beautiful journey for the 5D mystic, that is. For the 4D, they have saga, and they don't learn about their brain in a way that allows them to get out of rumination. So that's where it's going. When people have insecure attachment, so attachment wounds and or childhood trauma, and a level of implicit memory for their first 3 years of life, that doesn't have them feeling safe, they feel helpless. And that's why there is a difference between a person like myself who feels secure to be myself in my body and my brain, my actual brain, and then with my mind, since I have integration of the brain, my default mode network is not actually scanning you at all. I don't need to scan you. That doesn't make me less intuitive. Actually, it makes me present. It means my body isn't having assumptions or prejudice or anything. No. And as I formulate my opinion, of course, you'll be able to notice it. Like my lovely divine masculine friend, when he's like, I can see you have an opinion, even though you say you don't. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter. You're sharing me with your opinion. Why would I need to share mine? So when you have people that are grown up still, they like to have shares. These are consciousness people. Now, those are really nice conversations. And in fact, they're the most amazing because we're opposites and yet we have fun because we are both confident people. I'm not superior, I'm not inferior. They're not superior, they're not inferior. And what we're doing also, by the way, is sharing joy because we're not extracting and we're not competing. We're friends. Friends or partners in general don't compete. Only insecure people compete. Let's get to those codependent type people, which in fact are all people with low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive aggressive. They do manipulate, although we all do, but they will manipulate in a certain way because their brain's also scanning by picking up on those fragments of each other. And see, here's why the 5D doesn't really engage with 4D energy or 3D energy that way, because as you project, while Patrick Tiahan, he's so beautiful, he shares with people how to handle those who weaponize psychoeducation. And I appreciate that because a lot of people need to hear what he has to say. Like he says to the same group, his community, how don't allow a person who is, he uses the word toxic. I'm going to use a word that is different, heartbroken, gut wrench, and in a shame cycle of their own, so insecure human being, not to allow another low self-esteem human being, meaning if you've gained your self-esteem, great. So that means you're not superior, inferior, to remember that a person, if they're not behaving with you in a certain way, one, yes, don't let them tell you who you are, but that's something automatic. If you are in a space of heart where it says, I am worthy, I'm breathing, you don't like me, cool. Like, I don't really care here. The only time I'll care is if I want to be in your group. And I'll know it because I'll be like, ooh, am I going to be picked? It's like when you would, play sports, right? So in a case of a secure person, like with my divine masculine friend, I only got like, ooh, am I going to get picked? Am I going to be able to be a part of the friend circle? And if I had not, I'd be like, oh, I'm so sad. Okay, I'm going to go make some more friends. That's what it means to be a secure person, because we were brought up in a way that allows us to have fun with people. They're not going to be giving us codependent types. They need to make it better. The 3-year-old you is not an adult, the sensation. So people don't work with their right mode because the left chatter has created a story. Mindset is everything because that's how you translate whatever's coming up. But before you can translate it, there's the need to say, wait, I'm a human being versus I'm a star baby and a chosen one, or whatever it is that the 4D collective is continuing to do. And as they dismantle it or try to, if they keep on just using the word spirituality process, nobody's going to understand. So here, spirituality process, enlightenment soul age group, 5D anything, it's human 101. It's called integration of the brain. Your default mode network will be down-regulated, so your ventral vagal nervous system will be engaged. Without any yoga, I only did yoga because I did Sadhguru Shambhavi Kriya and promised it. But other than that, I've been pretty easy with this integration of the brain. It's awesome to be in the depths of your emotional body. So we'll learn more about that. Experiencing relationships minus the drama, that's how we work with our emotions, because trauma is relational and intimacy is the core of healing it. So tune in to another video, and in the meantime, stay tuned again for the masterclass and the subscription-based model content on the podcast.